I used to hang out with my cousin a lot. We were both 10 at the time of this encounter, and I'm 33 now. It has stayed with me ever since. We'd mostly spend our youth roaming the streets, not causing trouble or anything, just kicking footballs around fields, climbing up walls, hanging out with kids our age, the typical stuff before iPads and Netflix became commonplace. One day we decided to go and explore a part of town we'd never been to before. That meant going through alleyways and back streets. The trail would actually end approximately 2 to 3 minutes from my house, which was in a safe part of the neighborhood. It was a sunny day, not too warm, and my cousin and I had been walking for what seemed like miles. The journey we'd planned was supposed to go on for longer, but we'd gotten bored and decided to take a detour home. The detour involved cutting through an alleyway that looked a little bit like Coronation Street, if anybody's familiar with that TV show. To the left of us were terraced houses, and to the right, steel fences with sharp points to deter any would-be thieves. We continued up here, and soon enough, one of the kids from our school lived in this house we passed. His mom hung out the window and shouted at us, "What are you boys doing here?" We ran away. I don't know why. We just didn't like her son, and her tone was accusatory. As we ran, though, we bumped into another kid. "Don't go that way," he said, his voice trailing off as he ran farther and farther away from us, down the opposite end of the alleyway. We shrugged and continued on. It got darker with the trees and foliage, but we soon emerged from the alley, and that's when we saw the lone boy. A boy aged about 10 or 12 stood there before us. His eyes were empty. He had a vacant look on his face. Above his mouth was covered with a veil, somewhat like a Halloween mask, except it was June. Halloween was months away. As we got closer, we noticed the boy had a kitchen knife in his hands. I mean, a full-on stainless steel kitchen knife, both hands on the handle. The sunlight made the blade glisten. We cracked a joke, cooking outside, but he looked back at us blankly. No emotion, nothing. We were too freaked out to move, and that's when we realized he hadn't moved either. Not a muscle. We saw him blink a few times, but physically, the knife hadn't been raised up or pointed at us. He just held it closely to his chest, blade pointing upwards toward the sky. We figured we should get away because instinct told us this was weird and a bit freaky. Going back down the alley didn't seem like a safe option. Being stuck in an alleyway with a strange kid with a knife didn't seem smart either. In front of us was a road on a steep hill. It was our best shot. We walked up to the top of the hill, keeping an eye on the kid. The top of the hill was 2 to 3 minutes from my house in terms of distance. At last, we felt safe. As we looked down the hill, the lone kid had put the knife by his leg, holding it in one hand, but remained in the exact same spot, staring back up at us, expressionless. We told our parents what had happened, and they called a local community enforcement team to scout the area. Apparently, the kid was found with the knife, but we never heard why he was there or what he was doing. 23 years after it happened, it's still on my mind.